Hi, everybody. Welcome back into our next interview series. My name's Scotty Gange. Happy to be joined with Sun Devil Hockey head coach Greg Powers. This interview today is sponsored by Gila River Hotels and Casinos, as you can see right in my little vortex I'm in right now. Coach, I know you're at home. How are you and the family doing in this kind of weird time we're in?
We're doing great. We're making the absolute most of the situation and obviously getting to spend a ton of time together. I'm sure all of us will be happy when it's over so we can kind of get back to our normal lives like everybody else. But it's been fine. To be able to be around, especially my two kids, 13 and 10-year-olds every day as much as I have. I don't remember the last time I've been able to do that because my off season is generally more hectic than in season with all the things that it's required from a head coach. So it's been nice to spend time with family.
So how have you been adjusting to that and working as the head hockey coach? And I know the NCAA rules are changing so much. It seems like every week or so. How have you been able to adjust working with your players and working with your coaches all remotely?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Obviously every day I talk to our staff and we figure out things we can do to prepare and get better. There's always continuing education. There's always books you can read. There's always things you can do to advance, in your profession. And we're trying to do those every day. And then just making sure that our players have everything that they need and that they're staying motivated, they're staying engaged mentally. We did our season-ending exit evaluations last Friday, and not knowing exactly how they would go or how effective they would be. We did them on Zoom, and they're incredibly effective. It was really, really good. I think it was good for them just to see us and kind of get that feedback and mentally engage again. And with everything that's going on and the stresses of the season ending the way that it did for our players, I think it was refreshing for everybody to go through that exercise.
I'm wondering, you mentioned how it's almost been a pleasant surprise how great that was doing it over Zoom. Has there been something that you've learned about yourself or about your staff or about your players in this time working remotely with all of them?
I think we know each other really well. It's just, the biggest focus is just making sure everybody has what they need. And we want to be a program that comes out of this thing full steam ahead and not use, our confines of being home and some of the obstacles that are being thrown in front of everybody and take advantage of it, and come out ahead of further ahead than every other program. And we made the guys read a book at the start of last season. It's called The Obstacle is the Way, and it teaches you how to turn adversity into advantage. And we apply that to everything we do in our program. And now is a perfect time to use all those lessons taught in that book, and take all this adversity being thrown at everybody and turn it into our advantage and come out ahead of our competition.
You mentioned that the obstacle is the way for this program at ASU. It's the youngest D1 program in the country, but you guys have made, counting this season, would have been 2 back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. Recently, 2 guys on your team, Steen and Brinson Pashnuk, are in the NHL now, free agents signed with the NHL. What has been the secret for you guys in turning what is originally a couple years ago not really a hockey school at ASU into kind of a hockey school at ASU?
It's all about the right people. It's just like any business out there. If you can, put the right people in place that share genuinely share a passion and a common vision, and will stop at nothing to make that vision a reality, anything can happen. And that's what we've done, in a very short period of time. Again, everybody on the outside wanted to create all these obstacles for our program on why we couldn't be successful. We jumped into it too quickly. We didn't have an arena. We don't have a conference. We're the only independent school in college hockey. And they all said we couldn't be successful because of all those things. Hiring a quote-unquote inexperienced coach at this level. So many obstacles people wanted to create for us. Well, we just tuned all those out. And made the obstacle the way, and we embrace our arena. We embrace the small confines of Oceanside Ice Arena, and love proving people wrong. And it's just all about getting the right people in place that genuinely believe in that common vision we have that, and we think we're only scratching the surface with our program.
Do you think that acts as a form of motivation for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You love proving people wrong. I think the other biggest piece of motivation is we do have so many people that support us and believe in us, and it's more important to take their belief and their faith in what we have and what we want to build, and use that to our advantage. And then obviously along the way, for the naysayers, it's always fun to prove them wrong.
I'm not surprised that in this time right now, you're trying to come out the other side better, right? Having found a way to improve and not to go down in what you guys have been building so hard and so strong over the past couple of years. I'm wondering in this time if there's anything in particular that you can find in this weird pandemic era we're in right now, any positives you can take out of this situation on your end.
I think the biggest positive that everybody has to take is when we return to what we deem as normalcy, to not take anything for granted, not take an hour of the day for granted, make the most of our time that we have. Just little things like, being around people, and affection, and giving a guy a hug or whatever it may be that you can't do right now, that you take for granted every day. When that returns, I hope all of us understand how lucky we are to be back to that, because there's just so much that all of us can take for granted when you're going through the rigors of everyday life. And then when something like this happens, you realize how lucky you are, so I think that's the biggest takeaway I think all of us can take. That's the message to our players. And we certainly won't take another day for granted that we get to show up at the rink and play the game that we love every day.
Couldn't agree more, Coach. Hey, just so you know, in the 3 interviews we've done, your backdrop, I think, is the winner right now for coolest backdrop. I see you have a little plaque, some photos.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cool setup you have behind you.
So
you're the winner right now, standing winner.
Nice. That's good to know. It's a nice home office whiteboard, but I appreciate that.
Of course. Well, thank you for your time. I know you can't wait. I can't wait too to see the Devils back on the ice. Appreciate you as always. Stay safe, and we'll be looking forward to next season.
Thanks. You as well.